radio, you and our guests were just having a small conversation around what is happening in the education sector. And this is just for you. We can have a conversation or two about it. Voice from the top is on Mainland FM 98.3, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock every Friday. Today is different. We will stop before 8:45. We have some paid for adverts to come up at 8:45. Well, at 7:45. But be sure that radio station is quality every time. Follow us across our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It's Mainland 98.3 FM, and on X, formerly known as Twitter, is Mainland FM. We are also streaming live on our YouTube platform, Mainland 98.3 FM. Just have this one. The Ministry of Education on Friday clarified that the Minister of Education, Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ merely proposed the introduction of a 12-year basic education system. The minister said that the ministry stated that reports of an immediate policy change on the matter were untrue. Several media outlets have suggested that the new policy at scrapping the junior and secondary school system was already in effect. In a statement by Director of Press at the Federal Ministry of Education, Fᴏʟʟᴏᴡ, the ministry emphasized that the National Council of Education will review the proposal before any decision is made. So the proposal seeks to transition to a 12-year compulsory education scheme whilst also retaining the 633 structure. A key aspect of this proposal is to eliminate the examination barrier between GSS and SSS, allowing students to progress seamlessly without external assessment at this stage. However, this remains subject to further consultation and deliberation. To ensure a well-informed decision, the ministry will undertake extensive stakeholder engagement over the next few months, 8 months precisely, and by the end of the year, the National Council of Education will hold a meeting in October, and final decisions would come to fruition at that time. But yourself, you are a strong educational advocate. You are very keen on how good our educational system should be. We also disagree on many parts. I think we agree on the fact that primary and secondary education should be made affordable and cheap. Free, if you like. But university education everywhere across the globe is expensive. If you want the best, you should get the best with your money. Yourself, no change. It is still 46334. The last follow the complete. But do you think it's about time we change that curriculum, that sequence?
What we just need to do, whatever they want to do in education, is always very, very simple and for everybody will carry along. Just quietly first, the committee we pick the national policy on education, that is existing like a Bible for education. They go through it. When they might have gone through it, then they cannot be thinking of, by that time they already have what they want to integrate into the policy before they should be telling Nigeria. So that when the new edition is coming, you already communicate to people. Not the one that you never even go through the proposal, you announce something, then you now cause crisis.
No, but just see, I think beyond blaming government half of the time for when we see all of these announcements, you should know that unlike before, where information can be managed. So imagine you're doing a stakeholders meeting. You are inviting people that have smartphones. So people are so excited, and whatever they type at the meeting is what goes out first. You need to understand that as much as we can even bring in our guests on this. Maybe I might be wrong. I'm just saying. I'm just being as realistic as I can be.
JD, sorry for coming this way. When Lai Mohammed was federal minister for education, this is supposed to be private something. Whenever Lai Mohammed called for press conference, this is the way. That's why I say that man is a very fantastic media person. Know how to follow people. Lai Mohammed will say, okay, do you know what? Let's have a conversation before the conversation. That way that nobody own anything. This is just like family.
How many times do you have access to the pressmen? Imagine you are doing an event. Joseph, see, that one are too much conversation.
See, what
Mr. Oranta, you are having an event. You invite 50 people, 40 people.
You're supposed to do not before the event, JD. Before the event, we should be see, for me, government official or government should be after God, the most brilliant, decent, orderly person should be government. Whereby, if you want to do anything, you sit. They are permanent secretary director. Are you saying that if you call these people first, you have a meeting with them now. Okay, let's bring in some external people. You have those, when you have all those phases of meeting before you are not coming on to address it. So it's far better just for us to show that we have wonderful and brilliant individuals.
Also, we watch events. Whilst there are events, there are panel sessions.
No compare
Hold on,
America.
Joseph. No, I'm just saying.
Australia.
Mr. Oranta is our guest this evening. I'll still introduce you more and more during the course of the show. But Mr. Oranta, see, I'm being real. Joseph, no one understand.
Yeah, holding brief for the failed system.
No, I'm not holding brief.
No, seriously speaking, because when you look at the whole thing, it's a very good project. That
fantastic one,
very good one, because there's a dearth of artisanship in Nigeria.
Yeah.
If you need to do tiling, you need to do bricklaying, block molding, and all that carpentry. If you want to get it done well and professionally, you have to go across the border to the Cotonou guys and all those other guys.
Yeah, true.
So our people are no longer interested in learning the trade. Those who want to do mechanic, automobile mechanic, they just do a little bit, they jump out, they want the money, because the country has been monetized, the souls of the nation has been monetized. So this government bringing this idea that from primary school you'll be learning about 15 or thereabout skills, different, you just choose one and you keep on following that, so they grow into it.
It's a fantastic idea.
Very fantastic. But how do you manage the information so that you don't confuse people, you don't create two different impressions in the minds of people? So that's the problem. And we'll have a system that prides itself on minor, majoring in the minor, and and the other way around. We would like to put the cart before the horse. Always an on-pass at the end of the day. Otherwise, this is something they should plan well. Before the information comes out, it will come out and flow through the system.
Even the system will own, the citizen will own it.
Because it's a good idea. It's a good idea.
I agree completely with you guys. Okay.
That's the way we now do these 18 years. Me and you now, we're discussing the 18 years of going to university.
Yeah.
I think this is according to our national policy on education. It's on the book there. But the way the minister then is, the approach was completely like, it caused more confusion. Whereas this was just in the book.
I understand you, Joseph. So I don't do like this now. Our Minister of Information and National Orientation. So he named now Mohammed Idris. There, Alhaji Mohammed Idris, right? So
he's so unknown.
It's so unknown. It's terrible. It's unnecessary. So terrible.
Even Lai Mohammed, with all his shortcomings.
No.
I go still abuse him.
That man was professional.
That man is my own fantastic.
Even though he tells you things,
you gotta reconfirm.
By the time you reconfirm, you say no, I didn't actually say it. You misquoted me and all that.
Before we go,
the man
is very active and
no,
it was
very
quite
professional. Yes.
So finally, let's just take this story before we go into our conversation. I guess that's joined us already, but we'll read out his profile for you very soon. Voices from the top on mainland 98.3 FM. Kule Daniel, Joseph FOLORUNSHO, and Mr. Sumi Uranta are in the studios this evening. Destination time is 7:45. Joseph, this one 2 minutes. There are new proposals for new states like Lagos State, Lagos State.
They may say simple. JD, may the cuckoo say, let us convert all the local government to states.
But America, for example,
why are you comparing America?
But
JD?
You people compare America all the
why
time.
Me, I don't compare. Let's be Nigeria.
But if what I'm hearing, of course, they have come to clarify it though.
And you being from Anioma State?
No, River State. I'm from River State.
Okay.
Yeah. So you see, if you have to get a 31 state to join the 36, that will be about 67 plus FCT. But they have said that it is not true. This is a proposal that they have not adopted anything. They are still working on it, and it's not likely that they will adopt it.
And that's how to manage information.
No, JD.
It came out wrongly.
See, these are when you say honorable, when you say distinguished senators. JD, just they should be able to communicate. You may have a very brilliant proposal, but if you don't know the way to carry the people
Information
along when,
management.
and it
Yes,
become a
I don't even
different
think we
thing
need further
entirely.
breakdown of our state system.
It's a
This state
different
system
thing
we demand
entirely
is
because
don't
see,
do.
JD, when I
It's
saw
not, most
that
of them
thing,
are not viable.
Yes, now a lot of
when
stuff.
I saw that thing, me, I was even thinking that they should collapse some states
Yes.
so
Yeah,
that
sure.
we will reduce.
Seriously.
But we
Some
are not
states,
talking
some states,
about.
they need to collapse them. Just add them,
Yes.
add them to their neighboring
In fact,
states.
it's not up to. We are not supposed to have more than 15 states.
Yes.
We're not supposed to.
Our guest, you heard his voice. His name is Tᴚɪᴛᴛ URANTA. He has a BA in philosophy, MA in philosophy, and his PhD is in view in the same course in philosopher par excellence. There, he's an activist, author, serial entrepreneur, and motivational speaker. He has deep passion for extracting the best even from the worst situation. He is the CEO SOMI STEAM Group, Executive Director of Optimistic Outlook Empowerment Initiative for Niger Delta, coordinator of Motiva Comedy Seminar Series, and publisher, editor-in-chief, Motivapreneur Business Magazine, or SMEs. We are discussing finding permanent peace, and that's creating a roadmap to permanent peace in Ogoni land. Let's start this way. Welcome on the show, Mr. URANTA.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you once again. Let's start our conversation this way. I think for everything there must be a background. So in Nigeria, oil was reportedly first discovered in Bayelsa State, in Oloibiri, right? In
Exactly.
the year 1956, according to OPEC, that's the Organization of Petroleum Export Countries.
I thought it's 58.
58, yes.
Yeah, 58.
Nigeria's currency has Nigeria currently has the world's 10th largest crude oil reserves, as the world 30th is the 13th largest producer of crude oil. While oil exploration and production in Niger Delta began in the late 50s, operations were suspended in Ogoni land in the 90s due to disruption from local public unrest. The oil fields and installation have since largely remained dormant. However, major oil pipelines still cross through Ogoni land, and oil spill continue to affect the region due to such factors as a lack of maintenance, vandalism to oil infrastructure and facilities. Ogoni land, years after, when we discuss Ogoni land in the news most time, the Ogoni 9, led by 괶 continues to be in the news. Recently, the Nigerian government, led by the president, invited the ex-while governor of Rivers State, Yᴏᴜᴛᴜ, and the current governor,
Another stakeholder.
and other stakeholders to Aso Rock. I also remember during President Muhammadu Buhari, there was a very lavish ceremony. Mr. URANTA, I remember, in Ogoni land. The Ogoni cleanup exercise was supposed to begin.
Yes.
They're
Is it
still
the vice
waiting.
president, the former vice
That's
president?
former.
whatever?
I remember that
stayed
day.
there.
They
He
show
stayed
am
there.
for show am live. He go Baramatu King. No, is it Baramatu is in River State?
No, it's in
Delta
Delta
State.
State.
But there was a very lavish.
Yes.
There's always been Ogoni cleanup in our news. 괶 finally, let's try and let's compensate. Let's reconcile with the people. Mr. URANTA,
Yes.
it is over 20 years and counting, and yet there is no pathway to peace, at least in that part of Nigeria. Why?
The problem is that the Nigerian state lacks political will to make it real for the people of Niger Delta. They lack sincerity of purpose. They seem to have different laws for the so-called minorities that have been branded and the majority. There are two laws. Nigeria operates on two kind of laws, not the Sharia law and the Constitution of Nigeria. No, two kinds of operation of laws. You know, remember Senator Adams Oshiomhole was talking about a situation where two laws exist. The way they fight, you know, oil theft and all that in the Niger Delta, that they have militarized our place. We have become a conquered people, you know, a people under siege. Meanwhile, some people in up north are mining illegally, although illegally.
Using the helicopter.
Using helicopters. You know,
Zamfara, for example.
to the point that they even some Chinese come to pack the sand of Zamfara. This country is really, really blessed. You know, earlier today I was telling Joseph, you know, in another fora, how some countries, you know, of the world gather to assess, you know, and enumerate their blessings from, you know, the universe. And some of them realize that they have just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, natural resources. But they now discover that one country has everything you can think of, and they have it in commercial quantity. And they say, no, God must be very biased. Let us go and occupy heaven. God must explain to us how a God that is said to be unbiased, an umpire that loves everybody equally, how could he now give everything to one nation and others to give them 1, 2, some don't even have, like Japan, they don't have any, So when they went to ask God to occupy heaven, and God came and said, what is all this one? They said, God, come and explain yourself. How come you gave all of us 1, 2, 3, but one country you gave them everything in commercial quantity? God said, is it the resources I gave to Nigeria you're complaining about? He said, yes. Can't you see it? Is it fair? Is it just? God said, don't worry. It's still you people that will go and mine these things, that will go and extract all this oil. That watch the leaders I'll put in their place. So that's why there's a dearth of leadership in Nigeria. What we have are rulers, There's a dearth of leadership. How can we live like this? The Niger Delta, you see, yes, they are punishing us, they are doing all this to Niger Deltans, but if you carry me not for ground, you're there on top of me, all of us, they ground. You know, what's that, Asha, that says, I'm in chains, you're in chain, I'm wearing uniform as a prisoner, you're also wearing uniform, There is no desire of the, at the heart of the system to help solve the problem of the Niger Delta people. When President Yar'Adua, in his wisdom, sorry that, unfortunately, his leadership, was short-lived because he died while in office, about 2 years into his office, his tenure. He created a Niger Delta Technical Committee that produced a report on how to develop the Niger Delta. He was one that brought about, the amnesty program, the NDDC, the Niger Delta Ministry, and all these, interventions to help create a peaceful situation within the area. But the man died and everything, went bananas. Nobody followed up. That is why they are treating Niger Deltans. There was paper why don't they produce the white paper so that they follow through? How can you say, look, Ogoni issue is in the forefront because of the agitation and the death of Ken Sarawiwa, but it's just a small portion of what is happening in Niger Delta.
There have been movies, there have been articles, there have been reports about what is happening in Niger Delta. There are the people who produce what we primarily focus on. I live in a squalor, but there's also been conversation around the state governors.
See, let me tell you something. The state governors, the stakeholders in the Niger Delta and all that, people have accused, when I go on air and start talking on different, occasions, and they say, look, what are your people doing? They are corrupt. They've been stealing the money. I say, I cannot hold brief for these guys. Most of them do. They do. But in spite of all the looting, the siphoning, and the pillaging of our national patrimony, Lagos got developed to the point where we are today. Abuja, before our very own eyes, got developed. How come Niger Delta, you cannot go from Benin to Warri? If not by road, what about rail? You cannot. There's no road. You will spend a journey of 1 hour. You will spend 3 hours between Benin and Warri, and your car will just get, knocked off the road. Why is it so? How come that you cannot move from Akwa Ibom State to Calabar, from Uyo to Calabar? A very short distance. People have to go by sea, at the risk of sea pirates and all that.
But there's been constant conversation for as long as I can remember. Every administration at the federal level, I've always had conversations with the people of the Niger Delta, trying to seek new beginnings, right? From the Jonathan era, Jonathan is your son, proud one at that.
Yes.
To Muhammadu Buhari, who I know they are building some roads around Bonny Island.
Yeah, that road is ongoing. That I must say is ongoing.
Yeah,
I've not been to the road, but I have intels. I was just.
And that's a major road.
Look, Bonny Island is where that leads us to the gas.
Yes.
Liquefied natural gas project
at
Finima, LNG. Yeah. So these things are. Look, it's only natural for you to develop the area where you get the biggest wealth, the greatest wealth. You develop it so that you make life easier. It will be good for everybody. But instead of doing that for the Niger Delta people, what they decided to do is to militarize the place, to keep us as people under siege from every 2 poles. You see, all the bad roads area, they will not be there. And when you just come off the bad spot, you want to move on a smooth, you see police checkpoints. The another checkpoint, another checkpoint, another checkpoint, and they are not doing anything just to obtain the people. You know, collect money. That's what they do.
But I know you are very stick on optimism. You have an NGO. You lead
Yes.
an NGO that is also your thoughts has always been optimism and the way forward. Let's start looking at the way forward. Like our topic already mentioned on Voices of the Top on Mainland FM, creating a roadmap to permanent peace in the Niger Delta. We can continue the blame game. Federal government has not done enough. Some of our leaders in the Niger Delta have also not done enough. But how do we keep the peace in that part, and how then do we reach out? What kind of engagement do we need to start doing to reach the people that needs these developments? Not some elders that would, you know as it is now.
Yeah. First and foremost, if the government is ready to get things done, because this is what they're saying, what is leading the whole thing now, this whole idea is because the president has talked about 2 million barrels per day.
They want to ramp up production.
That's why you must be sincere in your heart that you want to get things done. And talking about exploration, from the Ogoni axis, that shouldn't be the first thing. It is still that issue of putting the cart before the horse. The first thing is to come to the people, know what their needs are, and start working towards it. When you start doing those things, they will see that you are sincere about what you want to do. How is it that you cannot go from Benin to Port Harcourt in record time? At least 2-3 hours time. You're supposed to move from Benin through Warri, Patani, Kayama. You're in Port Harcourt, but you spend like 6-7 hours. Let them do the right things. Do the real consultation. You see, one thing they do is divide and rule. You pick some people and empower them, make them lord over the other people. Those are the things that the government of the military juntas were doing that led to the death of the Ogoni 9. When you try to use some people to, you bring 2 rams and you join their heads, they start knocking horns. That's what they're doing. And it will not work. The Ogonis are ready to lay their blood again, because if their brightest mind or minds could be killed so gruesomely for no reason, then they are ready to. They say, look, no oil. They have declared Shell persona non grata in Ogoni land. So the government, to get that done, they must come to the people. It's not issue of picking some people, some political. Well, let me not use any derogatory word. They must get the people. Let the president go to that place. Go to Ogoni land. Go to Bori. Let the people come. Speak with them. Cannot just call Nuhu Ribadu, NSA, that I should go and sort the matter. He doesn't understand anything about it. Has he ever seen cruel before?
Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Voices from the Top is the show. My name is Kule Daniel. We are streaming live on our YouTube platform. Mainland 98.3 FM is the platform. Just look for it on YouTube and watch our stream. There's just a FOLORUNSHO. There is Mr. SOMI URANTA, who is our guest. Is 727. Joseph.
Yeah, SOMI, what do you think we can do? Let people leave federal government, because I believe we can go on intellectual war. I'm from that side too. We can go intellectual, whereby the state governors, all the state south state governors said, you know what, let me declare free education, scholarship to all my citizens, so that in the next 10 years it is difficult for you to see anybody that you are going to carry gun and give us, bomb, destroy the pipeline, and they will not be engaging the government. Whether we are going to court and say, okay, no oil production in that base until we finish that case in court. Instead of the one you are talking of, divide and rule, you carry give some people, give them some money, they buy jeans, buy t-shirts to go and
drive expensive cars, call Duncan Mighty to perform to them.
After, when the money finish, they go back to go and cost. But you can go on intellectual and say, okay, we are not going to destroy anything, but we go to either court order or anything, whether court in Nigeria, court outside, and said, you know what, because of this thing that is going on, we have a judgment that no oil company should operate here until the environmental issue is taken care of.
It's already happening. In Ogoni, Ken before what led to this whole issue that they got killed, he declared Shell persona non grata in Ogoni land. So they stopped oil production. Anybody that said they want to go and start it off without doing the necessary things, you cannot do it. The people are ready to die, and you will kill tire. You see, so see, it is not something that it's not something you do half-heartedly. A people whose means of livelihood has been destroyed, you cannot farm, you cannot fish, you cannot drink water from the heavens even when it rains, you cannot sleep at night due to gas flaring. You have taken the life of the people. And it's not what you do. You don't solve such problem half-heartedly. You must be a holistic approach. And there is this, system they have been doing, which we have been following. The UNDP had a process which the government declared. They should follow through. There are processes, there are things they have written down that they must follow. So they should follow those things up so that it will be able to afford the people what they need. Look, you have to get remedy the environment. You have to create a means of livelihood for the people. You have to clean up the things you have created. So there are about 5 positions that have been reached that they will do. So they are just at the first point of it, just trying to work on the environment, and it's just so minute what they have done so far. So they must follow those processes. They must follow it through, and they must be sincere about it, because it's not something you do half-heartedly. Because nobody in the Niger Delta that can, in Lagos, if you are hungry, you have your maybe your village or something, outskirts, you can farm. You can go to fish or do any of those, but in those areas, you cannot. So there's no means of survival.
Clean up is very important.
But let's look at the head of, I don't know whether it's correct for me to say the head of the team, 𝐴ᴏᴜᴜ. I know there was a time that something happened in my village down in Edo State. And because of, sometimes Nigeria government, they will just on a fiat appoint one person and say, oh, you will be the one to coordinate. The person that they actually appointed did not have the buying of many of us. The whole system failed until when they come back, we now say, okay, do you know what? We have a person, we will choose a person who will help coordinate so that you get a better result. Do you think the government would have actually consulted the stakeholder and now say, okay, among you, who do you think should lead this?
Well, how does the government also know the stakeholders to consult?
Because some of them
that is why,
because you mentioned some of them are political, they have their biases.
Yes, that's why the people say, look, the Ogoni say, let the president come to Ogoni land. First of all, apologize to them for what Nigerian state have done to them. Then, between them there, they will decide what to do. Look, there is this, they call it the high rep, objectives for cleaning up of Ogoni land. 6 things were agreed on that they will do: cleaning up of contaminated sites, restoration of the ecosystem, provision of clean water because there's no clean water in the environment, health impact studies, livelihood support, and community engagement. It's not individual, engagement. It's not divide and rule engagement. You must engage the people, meet with them. It's not something you call them and call them to Aso Rock Villa and you just talk and it won't work out. It won't work out. So they must follow through what has been put on ground. Say, look, this is what we have to do, and let's do it with our heart in it.
But let's look at the same. Let's expand it a bit from Ogoni to Niger Delta. What do you think we can do to those who the enabler of vandalism in Niger Delta? Because, for example, where I come from again, sorry for me, there's something you cannot do in my place if you did not carry people there along. So I believe if some individual in the Niger Delta are not part of, because for you to go and bust pipeline, it is not a small.
One man cannot just
see. Let me tell you the truth. The damage caused by the people are so minute, so infinitesimal, compared to what is happening. Look, when they tell that they discover 150 joints, people have connected to it. It's not the locals that are doing those ones. These are well orchestrated action of people who are in power, who are in government, who have their connections to do it. It's not for the. If you go to an oil pipeline, if you do anything there illegally, it could blow off and you are at risk because it's moving under high pressure. So there are some special equipment they will use to drill and plug a socket.
Their own pipe, yeah.
Yes. So it is not just something done by amateurs. It's a professional action. You get? So they cannot tell us, say, it's the people of the Niger Delta. No. Yeah, there may be one or two few isolated issues, but the actions are look, sometimes even the oil companies create this situation themselves to cause confusion amongst the people. So now they throw money at some people, and then the people go and start fighting, and then they have their time to
do whatever they want to do.
That's why I say there must be sincerity of purpose.
Let's look at. I went to Akwa the other day, and I have something to do in Calabar, and I asked them how many minutes to be in Calabar. When they mentioned the hour and the time, then, and they advised me to use the water.
Yes.
And I was sure, JD, inside the water, we go into the water excess of inside more than 45 minutes. We see some guys on a boat. JD, if you see the kind of gun those people have, see all this police when they here, now no get this one like pencil. The guy just everybody should be calm. Don't snap picture. If you want to snap any of the picture or do any video, be discreet about it. JD, only seen the gun go. If I be army man, I go throw it. I go say, Ogasi, this one pencil. I go.
But you be journalist, why you don't call the video? Why you be journalist?
No, I said they say do it discreet. I can't show you now. That's my own side. So there's something no matter journal, I can't expose something. So what I'm saying is, I'm shocked how these guys are doing their own business inside the water. And
Sumi said it at the start that there were two kind of laws.
We have governments.
Yes.
So what do you think we can do for us to actually put this thing to rest, whereby this guy will not be taking arm against the state?
The people are not taking arms against the state. They are not. But there is no guarantee that they will not. You understand? There is no guarantee that they will not, but they are not now. What is happening up north, is a chance. It's going to be a child's play if government does not take action now, because when they pull off, the Niger Delta ministry, and they say now it is now a ministry that will oversee all the regions of Nigeria, the version of NDDC, Development Commission for the various. We have a certain topography that is so unique. If you want to build a story building here or maybe a bungalow here, it will take you times 3 or 4 to do same in the Niger Delta. Road network, everything is the same. And this is where they take the wealth to develop other places. So we have we are like an atypical child. We have a special need. Our environment is not like every other environment, even though it is that we have in the Niger Delta, not that owns the oil.
But the NDDC has been available for the NDDC as some form of arbiter between the federal government.
Was telling you that as a minister, he said, look, that is being done, and pretty men there, all of them speak Hausa at the gate. So the contracts are awarded there. It's like, look, let them go and bring out the paper, the report, that technical committee. The head of that committee was led to meet the committee and
actually help. We can't continue like this.
Well, the governors of the Niger Delta, River State, where I come from, I see what the governor is doing. He's doing a lot of things to redesign the state. From Opobo to Omoku to Degema to the Ogoni axis. I mean, the guy is working, I must say. But it's beyond that. It is beyond that, because the greater percentage of whatever comes from that place. So they must put in things there, and with sincerity of people and the political will.
Laws, the new
approaching, looking at me and my former governor and current senator, Adams Oshiomhole, maybe in other thing, but Oshiomhole is so like very patriotic issue of. So look at what he's saying.
Is great,
he's saying it to. He doesn't want to care whether you're this. What all those things that he's saying, I know that a lot of people may not be okay with it, but he's saying the obvious truth.
Yes.
If you can militarize the whole Niger Delta in the name of natural resources, which is one of them, why is the other side not follow the same up
to go? What point? We have less than 3 minutes to do this.
First and foremost, in how much they want to extract from the place, because this hen that lays the golden egg is already dying, so you must come out clean. So the people of Ogoni wants the president to come to Ogoni land and see the people, not to handpick a few. Then when he comes and that starts, they will now begin to follow the report that's on ground. Those 6 points agreed before now, they must follow them one after the other. When they start creating those things, they will see that, oh, these people are serious. The Ogonis actually want oil exploration back in
and JD, don't worry. When I become governor of when I become governor of Edo State, I will invite you.
Thank you. I'll be there. Edo, I'll be negotiating and Edo, so we'll be like brothers. My name is Kole Daniel. We have to go early. There's something at 8:45. At 7:40. Why are you talking 8:45? At 7:45.
You're ahead of your time.
Yes. At 8 o'clock, there's 괶ᴏ Radio. Have a fantastic rest of the Friday. Good night.
Right, I'm crushing, pretty like a night in Memphis. Alarm coming from Abuja. Protect your